Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something really important for anyone running IBM Sterling. That's the end of support deadline for version 6.1.x, and it is coming up fast. Now, this isn't just some date on a calendar. It's a real strategic turning point for your B2B infrastructure. So let's break down what that actually means for you. So let me just ask you something straight up. Think about all that mission-critical data, all those transactions, flowing through your Sterling environment every single day. Is that whole system running on a ticking clock? Well, if you're on version 6.1.x, the answer is a simple, straightforward yes. And this timeline, it really lays it all out. Version 6.2x has actually been out there since September of 2023. But the date you need to circle in bright red marker is April 30, 2026. That's it. That's when standard support officially ends. After that, you're pretty much on your own, with extended support totally disappearing in 2028. The window to get a plan in place? It's right now. So let's dive into our first section here. A deadline is approaching. We really need to unpack what this phrase, end of support, actually means for your day-to-day operations. Okay, let's zero in on the most critical part of this definition. See, end of support, or EOS, isn't just about missing out on a few new features. The crucial point, the real kicker, is that IBM will no longer develop or release fixes for newly discovered security vulnerabilities for version 6.1.x. And that, right there, is a massive risk. To put it as plainly as possible, after this date, that comprehensive safety net you've come to rely on from IBM, it's gone. Support shifts to this very limited model, where they'll only deal with existing, known issues. Any new problem, and especially a new security threat, will not be covered by a new code fix from IBM. Okay, so that brings us to Section 2, where we talk about the real risk of just doing nothing. What are the actual, tangible consequences of letting your software go unsupported? First and foremost, you've got security exposure. Just think about it for a second. Every new vulnerability that hackers or threat actors find after that deadline, well, it becomes a permanent, unpatched entry point into your system. You're essentially leaving the front door wide open, 24/7. And that, of course, leads directly to business disruption. When a critical process fails and there's no standard support path to call, your restoration times get longer and longer. Your SLAs are suddenly in jeopardy, and so is your overall business continuity. And on top of all that, you have compliance violations. You know, running unsupported software is a huge red flag for any auditor. It can trigger immediate exceptions, it could violate contracts you have with your partners, and it might even make your cybersecurity insurance provider raise an eyebrow. So let's just pull this all together. You're facing a future with no fixes for new security holes and much longer downtimes. You're looking at potential audit failures and angry partners. Your system is also going to start falling behind as everyone else upgrades their protocols, which creates friction. And, every single day you wait, that technical debt just keeps growing, making the eventual move that much harder and more expensive. These aren't just little tech issues. They are fundamental risks to the business. All right, enough doom and gloom, right? Let's flip the script and move into Section 3, focusing on the solution. Why modernize now? This is really about turning what feels like a mandatory chore into a genuine strategic advantage. This slide just spells it out perfectly, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got the path of doing nothing, a future of increasing security risks, compliance gaps, and just general instability. But on the other hand, you have the path of modernization, a future built on solid security, operational stability, and predictable maintenance. So the choice isn't just about avoiding risk, it's about actively choosing operational excellence. And what do you actually get? Well, you're back on a fully supported track with ongoing fixes. You're keeping the auditors happy and staying cyber resilient. You're reducing friction with all your modern partners. And you even get tangible tech improvements like better high availability for global mailbox, all inside a predictable release cycle that makes planning so much easier. So that brings us to Section 4, your low-risk upgrade path. I know an upgrade like this can sound like a massive headache, but it is absolutely manageable when you have a practical, step-by-step playbook to follow. Okay, let's quickly walk through this playbook. It all starts with assessment and planning. You got to know exactly what you have. Then you build and test everything in a safe sandbox environment. Step 3 is orchestration, and talking with your partners here is key. Step 4 is the actual execution, which you should do in phases, always with a rollback plan just in case. And finally, you optimize and document, tuning the new system and updating all your runbooks. See, it's a structured, methodical process that's designed from the ground up to minimize risk. All right, we're in the home stretch now. Section 5, making the move happen. This is where we tackle the two biggest questions that always come up. What's this going to cost, and where can I find some help?
So let's get right to that number one question, cost. And the answer here might actually surprise you. For most organizations out there who are current on their IBM software subscription and support, the cost for the new software licenses is zero. Yep, you heard that right, $0. The biggest potential cost is often already covered. So where does the budget actually go? It's in the execution, the labor for planning, the implementation, the testing. But I want you to look at that last point. That's the hidden cost. The cost of waiting is very real. You could end up paying for pricey extended support, or worse, funding an emergency upgrade after a security breach. Planning now is always the most cost-effective way to go. And remember, you don't have to climb this mountain by yourself. A good expert partner can seriously accelerate this whole process. They bring proven playbooks to the table. They can give you a readiness assessment to build a clear roadmap, help with all that partner communication, and even do health checks after the upgrade to make sure everything is running perfectly. So we end up right back where we started, but hopefully with a totally new perspective. This deadline, it isn't just a threat. It's a genuine opportunity to modernize, to secure, and to stabilize your most critical B2B infrastructure. The deadline is set. It is not moving. The only question left is your plan?